Good Sunday morning. My name is Jaden Jefferson, and this morning I am joined by Montrice Terry, who is a local community leader who has, basically been all around. You've likely seen him out, whether it's a basketball game or just right around if you have family. So he's joining me this morning to talk about a topic that we have become more familiar with this year, and that is gun violence and the impact that it's had on our youth here in Toledo. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Jaden.
Of course. Thanks for joining me this morning. So give me an idea of what your experience has been, talking about gun violence and hearing from the youth, as this week I actually interviewed you about an event that was happening at the Belief Center.
It was, and it was good to see you, Jaden. Hadn't seen you in a few months, so it's good to see you're doing well. Good to see your family. As it relates to the question that you asked, I see, and this is a personal viewpoint on those that's working in these trenches, if you would. It doesn't necessarily end, Jaden. We just may look at an opportunity and looking at opportunities to reduce it, the violence and those things like that. And I think a lot of it is we're just seeing a lack of love and a lack of respect. And so once you start getting back into the fold of respecting each other and just in a kind, friendly smile, just start spreading love in those very natural ways, you can start seeing, we'll start seeing some things turn around in terms of behavior.
And we've noticed with COVID-19, the COVID-19 pandemic, how just gun violence has really become more common, and we have started to get used to it because of just how common it is now and how we're seeing it on the news every single night. So why do you think it's become more of an issue, especially with our youth?
Well, I say it because it's what we see. You mentioned some of the tools that we're seeing it on. In fact, Jaden, when we were over at the Belief Center, there was a question posed to many of those youth as it relates to who feels safe in their neighborhoods. And we had two different responses. We saw one gentleman who was an older teen, and he mentioned that his family did what they could to keep them in a safe neighborhood in Toledo. Then you saw another youth that was elementary age, and he says he lives around guns and he sees guns. So he's threatened and he doesn't feel safe even in his personal environment. So I think, to your point, what we're seeing, what we're having access to see is really increasing that. So what do you think about, Jaden, if we have the opportunity to show smiles and interaction and engagement, how that can change the narrative?
It definitely can, because you see a lot of these positive youth programs that are now available, and you can't really say anymore that, there's nothing to do in Toledo. There are over 100 programs alone, So it really is impactful for a lot of people now that they have an outlet to just express themselves, show emotion and just do something fun, and so, it's been a rough couple of years.
And Jaden, you mentioned something that really is a stickler and really great for Toledo. So how do we increase, and I'm kind of going to pitch this back to you in just a conversation, Jaden, how do we make those 100 programs really be attractive, because we have such a wide variety of options? What would you say would be a delivery style or a marketing piece to say, okay, we have these 100 programs, but how would it connect with, what will make you want to go to one of the programs other than doing your job and what you love to do?
It's a good question, because I saw the variety of everything. For me personally, it doesn't take much to get me to do something. I just have to like what it is. One thing that even stuck out with me was the horse riding program. I mean, why not? So I think it just has to be something that's enjoyable. And I think looking at a lot of the stuff that's being offered, I don't see something that isn't fun, that wouldn't want me to come. So I think there are plenty of great things on that list, and I think that they're effective.
Would you also say, and this is where I look at, to just listening to what you say and your response, would you say, let's give it a try, even if I've never experienced it first?
For sure. And especially if, if there wasn't that program, if you wouldn't be doing anything, it's just good to have something, and something available, because it's easy during the summer to get bored, especially if, your kid just sitting at home, it can be very boring and it's going to feel like there's not much to do. So even just trying something new for a lot of kids, I think, it could be very beneficial for them.
And it is, Jaden, you are so on point. And I want to just kind of emphasize and thank you for the opportunity to say that we have to quit putting barriers in front of those activities. Yes, we all have lives. Yes, we all have things we have to do. But where do you prioritize getting involved in activities? Where do you prioritize as a parent, as a guardian, as a loved one, making that sacrifice to expose many of our younger people, and not just you, but really taking the time to say, you know what, I'm gonna try this horseback riding. I'm gonna try swimming. I'm gonna try some things that we have never tried before, and I'm gonna give it a try. And if we don't like it, Jaden, we don't have to stay with
Right.
it.
You know the saying, I can't tell you how many times I've been recommended to do something by my parents and I wasn't open to it and ended up liking it. I think that's the same case with any program that you're going to be participating in during the summer.
Give me an example, Jaden. What didn't you like initially? And then he was like, okay, this ain't that bad.
Oh, I'm a foodie, so I'm gonna go straight to a food thing. I remember this was a while back. I don't know what restaurant it was. Brussels sprouts wasn't keen on it. Now you ask me, I'll take all of them. So there are moments, in life like that I think a lot of us can think of, and I've had those experiences, and a lot of stuff I initially was not attracted to, I'm now all for it. So, I think that definitely could be the case for a lot of kids, especially when, especially if you have so many things that are being offered. I think that, just giving it a try and seeing, because we tried so hard over the years to offer so much of these things. And now that we finally have them, I think it's only right that we take advantage.
And I would like to see more of our families, and I want to create a healthy challenge. I challenge you to expose, to enjoy some of these activities, and then come back to the table and say that it didn't work or we didn't offer. To your point, Jaden, let's get out of the notion of saying there's nothing to do. When let's try some of these 100 opportunities and then come back and let's see what that discussion looks like.
Yeah, and we can't exhaust all of our solutions as well, because after this, if no one participated because of whatever barriers there were, and we say it didn't work, then that's ruling out a potential solution, which is just getting people into some of these programs. Because I know, with my reporting and hearing a lot of the other reporting, one of the major barriers to getting kids in these programs has been transportation or family or whatever it is. So we do have those barriers, and I know some organizations are really stepping up, to try to remove them, but we have to try something, because we can't, keep getting used to seeing kids. We had a 7-month-old that was shot and killed on our streets. So that can't become the norm.
And I want to, and you mentioned about collaboration and resources and entities making themselves available. With this platform and your platform, if you are struggling to connect with a resource here, and let's make it specific, in Toledo, try the City Park League. That's utilizing me, and I'm kind of moving along, but I want to make a very valid point on that, because here's an organization that will offer its time, energy, and effort to connect you to a barrier that you may have to help reduce that barrier. So the City Park League, if you need help trying to connect and get engaged in some of these summer activities, to make a decision on what you enjoy, reach out to us, or reach out to Jaden and let Jaden know, hey, I heard this, and could you connect me? And that's what you're here to do too, Jay.
For sure. And that's what I view my role in reporting as, just that, because that's what I guess separates what I'm doing, from any different types of reporting. This is, really grassroots. I encourage people all the time, to reach out, because, I want to see Toledo succeed. I just don't want to be on the sidelines reporting on it. I want to see our bright future. And we've already seen what the potential is, especially when you look at how this city has changed over the years. I had a family member in town recently who hasn't been here in a while. They've seen how this city changed. And for them, it was quite shocking, to see how Toledo has moved forward. So, 10 years passed, imagine what's in store for the next 10 years.
And some of the things that you're talking about are those same components to creating healthy and safe neighborhoods. You talked about your family. You talked about engaging in activities that you enjoy. And what those things do, Jaden, is that help manage time. One thing, as doing the City Park League basketball for over 20 years and being on the microphone, we were able to see, number one, through prayer and people holding each other accountable, the reduction in injuries and harm and violence. Now, have we had our moments of excitement? Absolutely. But because there were individuals that held others accountable in how they behaved in the public space, we saw some great success. And with the basketball, the entertainment around the basketball, the community collaborations, we were able to see eyes on individuals to reduce some of the negative behavior and things of that nature. So some of the same simple conversations that we're having impacts creating a safer and reducing some of the violence that we see in some of our neighborhoods.
And that's for sure. And seeing how things are going to shape up in the coming days and weeks, it's going to be interesting to see what solutions that we've tried and seeing how their efficacy, because, especially now we're in the summer season, this is usually the worst time when you're dealing with gun violence. So hopefully we can see the effectiveness of these programs in the numbers, because the transition from pre-COVID to COVID, it was alarming, to say the very least.
So Jay, now I got a proposition for you on your show. Could Big Treese and the Jaden, could we hit some of these summer programs and let those summer programs utilize your platform and utilize having a relationship with you to say what their programs are doing and how they're looking?
I am all for that. And if people want to see Jaden in the pool, then we got to do it.
Oh, listen, y'all heard this. Y'all got to request him. Y'all have to reach out to him. You might see the Big Treese and Jaden show coming to a summer program or summer activity around you. And I want to invite you to the City Park League Citywide Youth Cleanup, Jaden. It is a 10-week summer activity where we work with and we have fun in cleaning up different high-risk neighborhoods. We work with kids at the ages of 5 to 15. They get a chance to earn some money in cash. I'll send you some information and you can take a look at it. And if you're available any one of those Saturdays from 8 to 10 and catching some of the, coming to capture some of the footage. And I want to encourage those that's watching your show, reach out to the City Park League on all your social media platforms, or you can call our organization, 419-318-7144, to find out more information and activities and things to be a part of. But I'm going to hold that to you, Jaden, that we're going to use your platform to collect the data, to see the progress, and to see maybe some of our solutions on the Jaden platform that help reduce some of these issues that we're seeing as it relates to violence and other criminal activities in our neighborhood.
And we have to show the good in Toledo because it's out there. You can see it happening. And as you just listed, this is happening every Saturday. So there's always something good happening. And I feel people need to see it. And I also want to see it as well, which is why I'm encouraging people. I'm going to make sure I have all this information collected for everybody. So if you visit jadenreports.medium.com, I have a story there with all the information that you need, as well as my contact info. So if you're having something happening, please let me know. I want to feature it in, Toledo News this morning. And of course, I want to be out there to see it happen. And Montrice Terry, thanks for joining me this morning.
Man, I appreciate you. And y'all know what it is. It's Toledo. Hear me. Thank you, Jaden.
Thank you. And of course, again, there's a lot of good happening. So if you leave with anything, it's that there is good happening in Toledo, and you will do better in Toledo. It's not just a cliche, it's just the truth.